dealing with knockbacks and failures.
Wow. Deep conversation.
Bit of a
Knockback
deep
and
one.
failures. That's a good one though.
That is very, it's very
Try and get my head
interesting.
on. I've got to try and get my thinking cap on.
Yeah.
Knockback and failures, yeah, okay. Where do you want to start with this?
So, okay, I think this is a good place to start. What do you think is is there a standout knockback or failure that you've had leading up to where you are now that really stands out, that you're like, not necessarily, well, I guess like either proud that you've overcome or something that particularly stands out?
It's always an interesting one because I always think when you say failure, it's like final. Like something happened and you failed, whereas stuff obviously leads you into something else, doesn't it? So I suppose it depends how you look at it, but I've got two stories, I reckon.
Okay.
I reckon I've got two.
Yeah.
So first one, football.
Yeah, so I was actually going to say that. So I was going to say, when it comes to failures, the first thing that jumped out with me is if you think about anything to do with sport, take a boxing match, you're going to go for the world title, and you lose. You've failed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you're over. It doesn't mean you're finished.
No.
So...
yeah, that's what I mean, because it builds you.
Yeah.
It builds you then to go into your next thing. And I'm big on, had you not failed, or what was the other failure and difficult knockbacks? Had you not had that, then, you know, there's loads of people, isn't they, that have lost fights and then gone on to
come back and
be a world champion and things like that.
How many football players have lost in a final and gone back to win it next year?
You look at players that come through like non-league, take
Vardy or Liverpool when they lost the Champions League final, got absolutely battered by Real Madrid. It was embarrassing. Do you remember when they brought Bale on and the keeper made two terrible mistakes?
Just for our Liverpool
come back next year and win it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think if you go even, So one is football, one is career, like what we do now.
Uh-huh.
So I'd say football. If I look back now, I quit.
Yeah.
I got lazy. I got a bad attitude. At the time, you don't even realise.
No.
But I would say I'd like to think I was very good growing up, and got to a really high standard, and then just started allowing myself to get influenced.
Yeah.
Going out, drinking, girls, all that sort of stuff. And football, I was always really pushed from my dad, which I probably told you previously. So if I had training, he'd take me. As soon as I got to the age of like 17, I could drive myself. I then started going myself, and don't worry, I'll like. And
then you haven't got that responsibility.
I haven't got someone pushing me, and it's up to me. So I think football, because I still played at a good level, like semi-pro, after Tottenham growing up and things, and then I'd get an injury, and just lazy, just not going training, and I do look back, and I do genuinely think if I had stuck with it properly as I did when I growing up, that I'd still be playing. I'd be playing at a really good level, I think. So that, however, I think the knockbacks that I had then helped build me to who I am now. I'd say the next one was probably the business before I started up. So I went from a fairly good sales position in a business. I was earning all right money, and then I decided to come completely out of that industry and go into another one, which was more commission driven focused. And it was a startup, and I started well, and again, maybe it was attitude, maybe it was, it probably was. You can only hold your hands up if you want it enough. You make it work. But I didn't. I started underperforming. Yeah. And then I changed different divisions that I was working in, and nothing really seemed to come off. So I went from there, what felt like at the time there to there. However, again, flipping it slightly, and I was earning next to nothing, and I was in a bad place really. But I'd say by being there, it's the only reason I set up on my own. Yeah, it's that because I went from a very very rigid, process-driven, very organisation to a new startup, which was a lot more where you need to go on and get on with it, sort of thing. So you learn a lot of those sort of things when you're around that, and similar to the businesses we've got now, similar sort of vibe. But had I not been thrown in slightly at the deep end and done some of the responsibilities then, and it gone so bad, had I gone there, done really well, I probably would still be there, maybe.
Yeah.
So actually,
or your business would be 2 years later down the line.
Yeah.
And you would have only started up last year.
Yeah, and it might have been that I
might not have hired anyone
recruitment only, or I hadn't. So the failures and the knockbacks
actually had a benefit for you.
Absolutely, I think they absolutely mould you to who you are, as long as you do keep trying to get on. Because like I say, at the time you don't think that. I never think at the time. I'm sure there'll be loads and loads of more mistakes and knockbacks and flying.
It's fine.
I guarantee there'll be loads more of them, but at the time you don't go, failed. Because you keep going. Eventually, if you keep going, you never do fail because it. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, you can take one step back, so you take two forward.
Yeah,
basically.
And at the minute, with obviously everything with COVID, I should think there's lots and lots of people that are going through that at the moment. But if you keep going, I think you will eventually come back around. Yeah. And you'll be stronger and you'll be better for it.
Yeah, I mean, it always tends to work out, doesn't it? Everything tends to work out. Like, whether something goes drastically wrong or something minor goes wrong, it always seems to come sort of full circle. Yeah. It's even things like, working in finance. If a deal doesn't go through, it can really, bring your day down. But you've got to wake up the next day and be like, I've got to find another one. Yeah. But it's not letting that mindset get too overridden by that negative emotion of... And
you can always learn from sort of scenario.
That's a massive thing as well.
I think it's, as much as, every sales guy hates it when a deal dies or you're pledging it and then it falls over at the last minute. But it has to happen, because next time you tailor or you change and amend what you did last time. Maybe you have that moment, maybe I should check in and call them, and I'll leave it. And so the mistake, and you can always put your hands up, you can always hold yourself responsible, but as long as you learn from it, next time round, you'll get it right. Yeah. And it's all learning.
Some things are out of your control, which there's, I guess, a slight difference between, they've got the same outcome, but a slight difference between a mistake and a knockback that's out of your control. For example, if you were to make a mistake at work that led to a deal not going through, compared to if the client just simply pulled out. Yeah. Whether that's your fault or just through their own...
Yeah, I'd see it, but I would... So my counter argument to that... See, I think you should, regardless if it's in your control, out of your control, I still think you should take full responsibility. So if a client pulls out, my argument is we weren't close enough. So you didn't know what else was going on in the background for him to do that. So you're under the illusion that they need finance or they need this. You're going down that path. In the background, he's got something else going on. For him to say, I don't need it. So you haven't qualified it enough at the front end. You've not asked enough questions. And don't get me wrong, there will be times when
they literally just go
completely out of the blue. I've been bailed out by my family or whatever. But I still don't think you should give yourself that excuse.
Again, it's an excuse, isn't it?
I don't think you should give yourself that when you say, that's out of my control. I still think you should say, no, that's on me. Because if you do that, then you can never be disappointed.
I mean, seeing as this is actually around the topic of dealing with them, excuses can be quite a big part of failures, knockbacks, all that sort of stuff, especially when dealing with management, that sort of stuff. If you do something wrong, something doesn't get put over the line, you miss a deadline.
Yeah.
You can take that as a failure, you can take it as a knockback, but I presume it happens an awful lot, especially in the office environment where there'll be excuses thrown around saying I couldn't do it because of this, that, whatever. Whether they're valid or not.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on
that
excuses?
They're poisonous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, everyone makes them.
Yeah.
I still probably catch myself making them at times.
Everyone
does, but the quicker you can try and change your thinking around that and try and go from that's acceptable, like I will just blame or excuse, or it was because of this, like, I always think, they're getting into work late and things like that. It was delay with the trains and get on earlier. Yeah,
if it happens once, you can sort of...
If I said to you, and I always go back to this one, I'll give you £1 million and make sure you're in before 9 o'clock. You'll leave at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, you won't go home. You'll stay here all night. You would.
Yeah.
So excuses, I think, are very damaging.
Yeah.
And I think if people can easily just throw them out
they
there,
are very toxic, aren't they? Especially in an office. People starting to put, especially if it gets to the point where it's blame on other people, team members, that sort of stuff. They didn't do that in time, so I didn't get this done.
And so
everything starts.
Yeah, I was brought up by a particular boss that wouldn't have it. If you ever tried to, even if it was somebody else's fault. So here's an example, right? This is just completely off the cuff. It's about work again. Coming into work. If I said to you, right, let's just say one of the guys said, I'm going to pick you up, JB, I'm going to pick you up at 8, and we'll be in the office for 8:30. And then he gets you or she gets you at 8:15, and you get in at 9:15, and then you come in and you say to me, but I was waiting for him to pick me up or her to pick me up at 8, and they didn't pick me up till 8:15, so it's actually their fault. I would say, not at all. It's your fault. Your fault that you allowed them
to make you late.
You put yourself in that situation. So, and I had a boss that he wouldn't have it. And do you know what? And again, I've got a lot. It's kind of my view on it now as well. It's not at the time because it's just not. But he wouldn't have it, and he'd basically say, "Don't you dare try and blame someone else for this. You take responsibility. That was your job." Don't say because you was waiting on them, or you should have chased them up. Yeah. You should have got on to them. You should have managed me 3 days before and said, just so you know, I'm just waiting for that, or but it will be like, but you should manage it better. So I think excuses are very, very worrying. Yeah. I hate them.
The reason I mentioned that, one of the posts that's actually going out today on the Instagram and all the other socials is a quote from Florence Nightingale that says, "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse."
Yeah.
And I mean,
if you don't, again, it goes back to responsibility. Is if you take full responsibility of everything, and I mean everything. I caught COVID. That wasn't down to me. Well, you was around people that had it. Yeah. So you should have... Do you know what I mean? You can always find the alternative. Yeah. It's very easy to go to the blame and the excuse or whatever. I haven't got COVID, by the way. I haven't had it, by the way. But you can take responsibility of everything. Absolutely everything. Yeah. And I think if you do, you can never get overly disappointed. Yeah. And it's a really, really good trait to have. It comes in with attitude. Which, I was thinking about this the other day, I actually think I would prefer to have someone who's got the best attitude, but maybe not technically, or might not be the most intelligent or qualified, but give 100% attitude, attitudes 100%, work hard, listen, willingness to learn. I think I'd take that over anyone every day of the week. And again, take responsibility.
I mean...
What do you think?
The other big part when it comes to, I think, the whole taking responsibility, that sort of stuff, which especially I think will be a big thing for me, because it's always been a big thing for me throughout everything. But when I start hopefully managing a team, that sort of stuff, honesty.
Ooh.
If you do miss. I'm one of them people. I'm really, whether it is a bit like a scorpion biting me or if it's a good thing, I don't know because I haven't really worked it out. But I'm really, I'm quite like almost a people pleaser. I'm really forgiving, that sort of stuff. So if I was managing someone and they went, sorry, I didn't get that done, or like they come in the morning after and go, I didn't get it done, I'm really sorry, I'd be like, it's fine, go and do it now. Whereas if they went, I didn't get that done yesterday, by the way, I'm doing it now, just adding that word sorry in there, just admitting the blame that it was their fault, they didn't get it done and they should have.
Yeah.
That's such a big thing for me.
Find it in yourself to just go, okay, well, nothing going to change.
No.
Like, it's happened, whatever it was or whatever the experience is, it's done. Like, so you could either just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to be angry forever.
Yeah.
Or, okay, well, I've got to deal with it. It's not good, it's not nice.
Yeah.
But it just lets the weight lift.
Yeah, it must be difficult being so, like, I don't know, just negative all the time. Like, I've really tried to train myself to the point where if something does bother me like a little bit, I just like really brush it off my shoulder because I know if I say it out loud, it'll not only make me worse, but make everyone around me worse. Negative
energy.
Yeah,
it's just
it's same as before. It's poison. It's toxic.
It's toxic.
Terrible.
It has no place. It just does no good. So
it does no good for anyone.
Not at all. I know people that do moan all the time. You could say, "Oh, it's really hot today. It's too hot."
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, I hope it rains. Oh, it ain't stop raining. Like.
Yeah. Even if it is too hot, I'll just go, oh, weather's bloody lovely, isn't it?
So that's why I don't like. That's why I don't listen to news or read news though.
I don't either.
Genuinely, I tell you what. Give yourself an exercise this week at one point, right? Watch that. Watch Good Morning Britain. Right, watch that. Get up and watch an hour of that. Oh my God! Count how many nice things or good things they have to say about anything. And even when people come on, it'll be moaning about something, it'll be complaining about something. I don't think, like, during this whole pandemic thing, you know, everyone's got an opinion on the government, everyone's got an opinion on something. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it any better. I'm sure, you know, how do you deal with what's going on?
No.
There's no right or wrong way. Everyone's got an opinion, that's fine, but rather than looking at, the economy stopped, look how many businesses have gone under over it, think of how many have survived.
Yeah.
Because of the government support.
Finance schemes.
You know, think of things like the furlough. How many people have been able to stay in work as opposed to
God knows
reality
how much that's actually cost the government.
Yeah.
And no one's at all thankful, are they?
Oh, it's ending. When's it ending? End of the month, is it? Or
month? And they're like...
Oh, no, you know, it's...
it's pathetic.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. What do you want? Like, but again, don't get me wrong, I still have, like... And we all have moments still.
Oh yeah, of course we do.
But I think it's improvement if you can almost hear yourself venting about something and going off and then kind of have the realisation afterwards that...
Do you know what's the thing? That's the most stupid thing I've realised I do that I've completely made myself stop doing now. Hating football players.
Yeah.
Why do we do it? You've never met them. You've never spoke to them. You don't know them.
You know nothing.
They scored a goal against your team once and celebrated in a bit of a cocky way. And now you hate them and they're the worst person ever. And why?
Do you know what? It's that kind of... Because I completely agree with what you're saying. And... he was lucky. He's useless. They're
professional football players.
He's not useless, but that's his level.
Yeah, some of them aren't as good as others.
Someone I was talking to the other day would moan about Aaron Creswell, saying, he's useless.
He scored 10 free kicks in the last 3
seasons
in the Premier League. Yeah, he's not useless.
But people are saying, he should be dropped. They should get. And I'm a bit like, what's your alternative? Yeah. Because he's probably the best left back we have.
Yeah.
So what would you do instead?
Yeah.
I wouldn't play him. I'll play someone.
Buy another one.
Who?
Yeah.
I'll just go and that's one of my
favourites. Go and
favourites.
spend 20 million on
Go and spend 40, 50 million. It's the
Yeah.
it's the owner's money still.
Yeah.
It's his money that he invests into the club. We don't know if they don't make money. We don't know if they make, because the media will tell you, but they don't know what financially they're going on behind the scenes.
At the end of the day, the owners should be fans of the club, and they should be supporters, and they should want the best for the club. At the end of the day, it's their business.
Yeah.
And that's what they see, really. They see the club as numbers, and although the club's success does benefit them, if they see an investment fit for their success, they're going to make it. If they don't, they're not going to make it.
Yeah. I do think that, obviously, if you run a business, it should 100% be for the business and not for your own pocket. But I also think that I'll just go and spend 50, 60 million on a player, 50, 60 million quid that's their money. I don't know how many people would do things like that. Their own money. Yeah. And the big argument about the really, really wealthy people. Well, they could fund a country, or they could do this. I'm a bit like, they've worked so hard for all their money. Why are they in the... So they've done too well, basically, now that we want to have a pop at them because they've made too much money.
Bit of a controversial question.
Go on.
Do you think that people in a higher tax bracket should be taxed more percentage?
No.
Nor do I. I think everyone should be taxed the same percentage, because
if they earn
$1 million and someone earns 30 grand, it's the same. They still lose a lot more money.
I think, like, all these super wealthy people, okay, some might have come from money, whatever, but good luck to them.
Yeah.
And why should they be penalised for absolutely smashing it in whatever they do?
And that argument where they're like, well, they earned £1 million this year, they've still got 500 grand left over and they get taxed 50%. Well, yeah, but you've literally just taken an extra 300 grand off of them than everyone else.
But what's the point in working then? Why don't everyone just get paid the same if that, you're not allowed? I big views on that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I think that's very strange system.
For doing really well for yourself.
Yeah.
And then that comes back and bites you.
Mm. It's a really weird one. Getting into that whole apologies, that whole like political sphere is.
Sorry, I was going to joke.
It's like, well, not only is it relatively dangerous because you start making one comment and everyone else starts having different. Like, everyone has every single possible view there is about the British government. Someone has it. Yeah. Whether it be shut it down and make it all owned by the people. Like,
of course,
everyone has, every single view is taken by different people.
There's always something wrong with it though.
And but every single person has something wrong with it. And it's because no government is perfect.
What is perfect?
Not a lot.
I've never seen it, so I couldn't tell you what it is. Or have I seen it? Is this perfect?
There's got to be something that's perfect.
Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi's perfect.
Not when he's trying to leave the club, he ain't.
No. So he's human.
Yeah, everyone's human. No human is perfect.
No.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And
so what's yours? Because we skipped yours. So a failure or a difficult. Was it difficult?
Overcoming a knockback. I've had.
Have you got anything
a few,
specifically?
Nothing too major because I'm still quite early in my career, but I mean there'll be probably a few personal ones, that sort of stuff. The main ones I can really think of.
Is there anything recent, whether it like work related or something, where you feel like you let yourself down?
So, we had a meeting a week ago or something where we were sort of discussing targets and ways that I can try and push myself to elevate my career. And I'm pretty sure I probably used some of the phrases that we've spoken about today in that meeting, where I basically said, I just feel like I haven't been working hard enough.
Yeah, you're very honest.
I need a proper structure put in so that I can spend my time much more wisely than I am at the minute, which I don't really see as a failure or a knockback. Well, I guess it is in some sense a failure because I I wasn't working as hard as I should have been. I just let myself down basically, and since then it's been about basically trying to really change that, which I feel like I'm definitely on the road to. But in terms of actual sort of knockbacks and I mean like hard failures, I haven't.
See, I find it difficult to class what a failure becomes, because again, we're still young.
I mean, with things like, as we were talking about earlier, sport, it's win or lose, and if you lose, you failed
for that game,
for that one
and then,
time,
like you say,
and then you pick it back up again, obviously. But yeah, in terms of work-based stuff, I haven't really got anything that jumps to mind. The main one that is jumping out for me is a major knockback that I had, which was probably the biggest knockback maybe I'll ever have, was dropping out of university. So for me, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
I can't, like, it just wasn't working. And I dropped out of university after a term and a half, and maybe I should have given it more time. Happy I didn't. And I basically, so I had about 6 or 7 months between starting here and leaving uni.
Yeah.
And in that 6 or 7 months, I think I worked for 3 months of it. I did 2 weeks work experience, which led to me starting here. But, you know, in that time I had 4 months of nothing, sitting and stewing. And
Do you know what I'm going to say to you?
what?
So you could actually look at that as not a failure, but as a success.
Yeah.
Because had you not broke away from it,
so
do you know what I mean?
What
So you
I
can always
see it
flip
as,
it and see it as a positive.
what I see it as, I don't see it at all as a failure. I see it as dropping out of uni was a bit of a knockback for me.
Maybe at the time you did. Maybe
Yeah,
at the time
it
you
was a bit of a
thought,
knockback
oh,
for
you know,
me,
I've wasted.
which I've then turned into a massive success.
Yeah.
Which to this day I still think is probably the bravest decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
In being like, I'm not enjoying uni, just leave. Like I was literally just like, I'm going.
It's good. It's
And
good. It is brave. It is brave, and you need to be brave sometimes. Oh, I'm off.
Yeah.
Full.
Yeah. Cards full.
So we just talked to you for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah. We better start wrapping up. Yeah. So
I think you can. Yeah, like I say, I think you can. I think that's brave, definitely.
Yeah. I do
And
think
you should
it
feel.
was.
You
Yeah.
should feel proud of yourself for that.
I am proud of that.
Yeah.
That is one thing I am quite proud of. The fact that even though that was quite a big knockback in the sense of going from here's what I'm going to do, I'm at university, I'm going to get my degree, and then basically it was I'll work out what I'm going to do after that. It was like one day it was like I had that sort of plan. Everything was going to be relatively easy for the next 3 years because I had to go to uni.
Yeah.
And then it was like the next day it was like bang, work out your career.
See, I think that with that, being brave, like it's very easy to talk about it afterwards. What is the worst thing that can happen?
Oh yeah.
You're not getting assassinated for it. You're
No.
not going to lose your life over it.
I mean, there's certain things. It's I guess risk management in a way, especially when it comes to things like running a business. You've got to think about it more. Being brave, as long as it's not too risky.
Be brave, not stupid.
Can never fail. You can't fail. It can be a knockback. If it goes wrong, it might knock you back slightly, and then you're like, right, I've learned from that. Move on. Whereas,
go big. Go big. No, don't go big.
go bigger.
Go bigger. That was one of our posts.
Yeah, it was one of our posts.
Yeah. Someone stole it from us years ago and we've took it back. Right, let's wrap it up.
Right, let's wrap this one up.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, we'll try and get another one out. I don't know if you've got maybe a bit more time this afternoon or something.
Yes, I've got a few bits to do and then
Yeah.
we'll do another one. Yeah, cool.